at the opening of the Adelaide Festival. This year's program features works that speak to power and politics, to culture and resistance. So the festival's already made a few headlines. 3 Ukrainian authors and a major sponsor withdrew, and an international actor was arrested. But now the spotlight's shifting to the complex political themes playing out on stages right across Adelaide. Kicking off the festival is a powerful chorus of First Nations voices.
Something stick like Spinifex Gum, like ants on honey, like money on scum.
When we're singing the songs, we're not just singing like for the audience. We're singing for all the voices that, you know, people can't hear.
We're telling the audience, this is a story of someone who didn't have the voice to speak up.
Something stick like Spinifex Gum.
Spinifex Gum is both a title track and project name of a contemporary song cycle starring Malia, a Cairns-based ensemble of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander girls and young women. They've teamed up with music professionals from around the country to create a dynamic sound that blends vocal harmonies with potent messages of protest.
We sing about issues faced by First Nations peoples, so like land rights issues, injustices. Spinifex Gum is basically the Spinifex grass. They turn it into a gum and it's just this really sticky, like gluey substance.
It has like the texture of like honey.
Yeah, or like, yeah, just really strong. So yeah, it's like something stick like Spinifex Gum, like money on scum, like we're just kind of calling people out, like ants on honey and like greedy, like greed and stuff, like destroying sacred lands, destroying homes, destroying families for money and power and stuff, like just no respect at all.
And the future sees in the eyes of the young something stick like Spinifex Gum.
The Spinifex Gum sound is this beautiful, youthful sound with a pop edge, I guess, with these very kind of skeletal, punchy rhythms underneath them. The hollow iron ore train is tuned into a synthesizer. A cricket is slowed down to turn into a bass sound. A basketball hitting a backboard is turned into a bass drum when it's slowed down. So it's this kind of landscape approach to making beats.
We're telling the audience different stories of ourselves, and each song changes a different personality for each of us, because it's a very serious song, or it's a very fun song, or it's a this is what we want you to hear kind of song.
Treat them like that, you're just making better criminals.
I find it hard to call Malia a choir, but just like the music that we sing is just so different than like traditional choir music. But it's still got that same feeling of, you know, power and like togetherness, and like we're all just one and we're singing just beautiful melodies, beautiful harmonies.
Singing songs that you believe like you have a voice to, like singing songs that you believe you can change the future with.
Following opening night came another work examining the battles of First Nations peoples past and present. Tracker is a very personal piece by Daniel Riley, a Wiradjuri director, choreographer and artistic director of Australian Dance Theatre.
I was born in the middle of a storm, like nothing we'd ever seen before. So I was born in the middle of that chaos, birthed into its ruthlessness of policies, programs and legislations.
So the work is seeded from my great-great-uncle, Alec Riley. He was a black tracker for the New South Wales Police Force for 40 years. I think in terms of the story of Uncle Alec, for me, I want people to understand the complexity of it. A black man choosing to wear a white colonially implemented uniform, but utilising cultural knowledge, cultural skills, tracking and hunting lost people, criminals, murderers, thieves.
Look there. Trailers.
You know, he did all of that in service of an enforced system that paid him the very lowest.
Black Tracker tells his story. Sunday Herald. Yeah.
And at the end of 40 years, he got no pension and was sent back to the mission. So Tracking utilises the multiple pillars of our cultural storytelling that's existed for generations. Our dance form, our oral storytellers,
I grew up in the debris of genocide.
our visual artists, and our songmen and songwomen. The idea of working, one foot in each world, in the Western and in our cultural, is something that has happened since colonisation. Trying to find ways to work within systems or work, sometimes against and opposed. Uncle Alec chose to do that. He chose to serve because he felt a great responsibility for those who walked and lived and existed on his Wiradjuri country. The mirroring of that is the fact that I'm doing that. My whole creative team are doing that. As First Peoples, we are doing that. We are working within and pushing systems to reclaim these spaces. We can be the tip of the spear to pierce holes in conversations, to actually open doors and to actually say, well, it's possible, we can do it.
From the local to the global, Belarus Free Theatre is raising their voice with urgency at the festival. A company made up of artists all living in political exile. They'd be jailed in their country for sharing works of theatrical resistance and activism.
This is the only thing that is left for us, is to perform and make sure that our voices are heard out loud.
We're here in a festival with a show which called Dogs of Europe, and it's anti-utopia about what will be with the world in 2049 if the Russia or Third Reich will get the power.
We're almost, as the company, 20 years. When we started, dictatorship in Belarus existed already for 9 years. The company operated underground for all the years of its existence. And in 2020, we had so-called presidential elections. It was brutally destroyed by the regime. Thousands of people went to jail. And many people, including our managers and actors who were in jail, they went through tortures. We had the emergency exit for the whole company out of Belarus in the end of October 2021.
And it was just a fantasy, but now it's more than a fantasy. That's what is happening right now in Ukraine.
Why is it important for you to use dark and light in your work? So addressing really heavy themes, but also at times using humour.
It's our chance to sing, to dance, to immerse everyone, and first of all ourselves, into self-irony and laugh at the face of dictators. This is almost the last chance for us to make that warning to any democratic country, including our amazing Australia, and say, if you feel far from that, don't.
That's only what we can do. Like, we couldn't take the gun and go shoot people. We want to do art. If each of us will do something, we must to do it. And maybe this is the way how we will win, like how the love will win in this world, I don't know.